Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 126 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Tim Jeanette the Metal Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-host,
George Braden.
And in this episode, we talk about the board games, Fantasy Realms, Merchants of Magic, Cape May, and much more. Intern Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. If you could eat only 3 foods for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Oh, I got this.
Didn't they ask us this like last time that they asked it was 1 food? Now we get 2 more, so that's good.
It's variety. You go ahead, George. What would you eat? 3 foods.
Oh, jeez. I'm trying to think of 3 superfoods like
Spam.
Well, from my background, yeah, Spam.
I mean, if you get bored, you can just carve stuff out of it. It's like, I mean, I guess the question wasn't if you're trapped on a desert island,
yeah,
which 3 foods would you take? I mean, Spam would work. You just,
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to taste Spam the rest of your life. Like, should I make the second food like teriyaki sauce or something just to make it a little better?
I'll go without putting as much thought as George is putting into this. Number 1, cantaloupe, because it is absolutely my favorite food, period.
It might be a superfood.
I don't know. I don't really care. It's great. Cantaloupe would be the number 1 thing. Number 2, which is kind of a cheat. I don't care. Cereal, but it has to include milk. And I'm not taking my 3rd spot for milk.
And it could have all kinds of vitamins and be fortified with. That's a good choice.
I mean, I eat it almost every day. So I'm like a giant kid. And if I have to go with a protein, I would just say chicken, because I will season that however I like.
No, you don't get seasoning.
Whatever. Dirt. I'll season it with the cantaloupe juice. With the cereal. This time it's Fruity Pebbles crushed up and marinated into this.
You could make breading. Yeah, you could.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Or, really, I can make breading out of Frosted Flakes. I mean, I guess maybe I have to pick one specific cereal. If I had to pick a specific cereal, I would say Raisin Bran, just because it does fill me up and it's still cereal.
Okay.
If it's junk food cereal, it is Lucky Charms or Fruity Pebbles.
I'm trying to think of other ways I can cheat. Can I just say sandwiches?
Yeah. On 4 course. No. Are you answering or are we moving on?
No, we'll move on.
All right. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. Most random opening ever. It's great. I love it.
Now I'm hungry. I am hungry now.
I am hungry. Actually, this would have been a great question for when we did our top 10 games about food. What was that, like a year and a half ago or something? It was quite a bit of time. Yeah.
Well, speaking of food, I haven't been out to a restaurant since the before times. And, with COVID and everything. So, and I haven't even gotten out and picked up, carry out. So it's all been home cooked meals forever.
Hunting animals on the
farm. No, it's not quite that primitive here.
Oh, okay.
We've got Walmart, curbside pickup.
That's fair.
Our new sponsor of our show. And my uncle visited. He came to visit, now that everyone's vaccinated. He came out here and he went out to a Mediterranean restaurant and just brought all kinds of different things, carry out foods, and just, oh my God, it was crazy good. When you haven't had any kind of restaurant food for that long, and then you get something that's really kind of unusual that you don't have very often. I don't, You're
like, how much was this? Like 120 a plate?
I would have paid that. It was so good.
That's funny.
Oh man, just different kinds of like, what is it? They've got the tabbouleh and falafel and the grape leaves, the wrapped grape leaves, and just all these different things. And then some Greek,
what was the restaurant?
Dessert. That's a good question.
There's one, I don't know if it's a chain across the U.S. or not, but there's one in Louisville called Shiraz.
Oh, that's good.
It's good, but the weird thing is before I had kids, I used to eat a lot more food. I'll explain
now
that in a
it's
second.
Just cereal.
And so,
cantaloupe.
yeah, cereal and cantaloupe. And when I ate at Shiraz, I'm like, what is this? Rabbit food? I'm so hungry. Give me more food. One shish kebab. What,
Yeah, but
it
it's
was really
tasty
good.
shish kebab.
It was tasty. It was tasty. But then when we had or especially Theron, and he had that milk allergy, and we started eating a lot of healthy food because, we couldn't cook anything with milk, and we don't want to cook stuff that he can't eat. So we just eat a lot healthier. And now I eat like half of what I used to eat. Portion control is a thing that's very important in dieting. And it's amazing because I go out and oh, wow, this is so much food. I can't eat all this.
And then you have leftovers, and so you're saving money.
That's true. Then you have 2 meals for the price of 1.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, go ahead and, I guess, explain what you've been up to since the last episode.
Sure. So my uncle visited coming from Idaho. Pretty much the food was the only thing that we did. We sat around and talked and played games. But we played games that we've been playing here with my grandma all this time. So
1,000 games of Llama.
We played Llama. We played Llama Dice. We played Soviet Kitchen Unleashed. We played C'est Evident, I think I talked about this one before, but it's obvious. It's not released in English yet. Yeah, we had just a really good time.
That's cool.
And then the other thing that went on is we have a new dachshund, and the dachshund went out and found a baby raccoon, grabbed it and shook it. Didn't kill it, but was trying. And so we got a hold of it, got the raccoon away from the dachshund. It turns out there were 4 of the baby raccoons because they came back and he went after him again, but we stopped him this time. Now we've got 4 baby raccoons. Well, at that time there were 3. And I hope the one he grabbed earlier didn't make it, but
yeah.
Anyway, at this time there were 3 that he was going after. We stopped him, but now we've got these 3 raccoons out in the yard, and we grabbed them. We have protective equipment and everything because of her job as a veterinary technician. So we have, like the special gloves and everything.
Not just giant oven mitts.
Pretty much. Kevlar gloves. And so we grabbed him up and had him in a cage, animal crate. Then started calling around to see if anyone was, could get anyone to come take him, like different wildlife centers and stuff. Mostly they won't because so many people have raccoons right now that they can't take all the raccoons. There's just so many raccoons. But my mom is friends with a veterinarian who does a lot of pro bono work for one of these organizations. So she mentioned that vet's name, and they said, "Oh yeah, we'll take those raccoons." So
it's all about who you know.
Right. So we plan to have them, to go and meet them and transfer these raccoons. And it was so funny. They were like, "Well, meet us out in the parking lot of this store because we're going to meet you halfway from where you are." It was pretty far. And just meet us like in the back of the parking lot because we don't want anyone to see you transferring these raccoons to us. Like it was some kind of drug deal or something.
Right, the raccoon drug deal.
I don't know what the problem was. Like, is everyone going to want one? Like, but
it's like free raccoons.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the plan. We had this plan set up. And getting ready, we were going to leave that morning and take the raccoons out, or leave that afternoon. That morning, my mom went and checked on the raccoons early. They had managed to get out of the cage that they were in because they've got these little hands and they're super clever. And they had nothing else to do except work on this. So they made a jailbreak, and they were outside of the cage. In the time that it took her to get the equipment back on and grab them up, one of them had gotten away, and we had him up in the barn, which is full of 18, 20, 30 years, I don't know, of stuff, right? There's so many places for a raccoon to hide. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, and there's probably plenty of other raccoons up there anyway. And, so she caught 2 of them. She couldn't catch the 3rd one. She came and got me. This is like 6 a.m. or something. We go out there and we start moving everything. And there's like massive piles of wood that we're moving piece by piece, right? So she has to go to Walmart to get the grocery pickup. They've got it ready for her. So she has to leave. And so I stay and I'm moving every piece of wood, moving everything in the loft of the barn. One of the things that I moved was this big bed frame, like this massive bunk bed frame from when I was a kid, but it's like metal and heavy. And I get it out of the way and I had it set up off to one side. Then I'm moving everything else for like 3 hours and no raccoon. I moved everything and there's no raccoon. So I'm frustrated and I'm going out of the loft. I'm about to go down the stairs. And just because I'm mad, as I walk past this bunk bed, I reach out and I punch it. And the bunk bed falls over. Like I leaned it up and it falls over and crushes, partially crushes this plastic bin. And then I hear from inside the bin like this, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." And that's where he was. He was in this. If I hadn't gotten mad and pushed over this thing, we never would have found him.
That's interesting.
So yeah, we got him and made the transfer. So, and now they're doing fine. They've got this special raccoon formula milk that they can give to them. And, it's like $20 for 5 pounds of it. If anybody, if you have any extra cash and want to donate to wildlife centers, like they need it. That stuff's not cheap, apparently.
Well, that was an exciting story. Felt like I was back at my parents.
This is what happens when you're back at your parents. I am back at my parents. This is what goes on.
I know, right? It's like everybody has raccoon stories back at their parents. Is that pretty much what you've been up to since last week, or?
That's pretty much it. That's, I've been working. Well, I said I was done with the book, but now actually some of the proofs are coming back from the graphic designer. So it's really exciting actually to see this is actually what it's going to look
progress.
Like. It's not just the text now. I get to see with the pictures, with the graphic layout and everything. It's going to be really nice. So it's exciting, but I'm going over it one more time because, somehow in the process things can get a little botched up and just have to make sure. So, but yeah, it's been really good.
Well, cool. Grats.
Yeah.
I got a quick story for you. Before we began recording the podcast earlier, I had got into my podcast bin, which is like this big thing of Tupperware, like a storage bin that's like 2 foot tall. It's a huge one. And it's in the closet, that's kind of behind the camera and stuff. I got into it because I needed to get like this adapter so I can hook my lapel mic up to my iPhone. I mean, that probably would have been funnier to tell you that at the end. But while I was turning on all the lights and stuff for the podcast, I started hearing this noise going, and I was like, what the crap is that?
Yeah.
And so I'm looking over and there's like nothing in the closet, right? I was thinking at first it was like a clock that was just kind of broken.
Okay.
And I get in the closet and I start hearing it. I'm like, what is that noise? It's kind of freaking me out, but I don't really believe in like ghosts or anything. So I knew there had to be an explanation.
Right. Aliens.
So I moved my ear, got closer. Right. Aliens. Yeah. We'd be dead at this point. But I put my ear in, I started hearing it closer, and then I moved this box and I figured out that it was in the podcast box. I was like, what is it? There's nothing in there that can make that kind of noise. So I open it up and start moving. Well, I open it up and start moving stuff around, and all of a sudden this loud music that's like distorted. It's like, it's like, anyway, I had this, those old tape recorders that's just like flat and you have like buttons on one end and it has a big speaker on the other end and you can record like memos and things like that, like back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Early 2000, we would use that in our band practice just to record live sessions or to come up with ideas. What it was doing is it was playing. I must have, when I put everything back earlier, like literally a couple of hours ago, I must have accidentally turned it on.
And it's been playing this whole time.
It was playing the tape, and then one side of it's just blank. So it's like, and then when it flipped over to the other side, it's like, just loud music, but it did it right as soon as I saw it. So I'm like, scared the crap out of me.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, that was a way to wake up to do the podcast. Nice. Other than that, I'll just quickly go over for time's sake, because we do review board games and stuff on this podcast.
That's what we do.
But it's fun to talk about other stuff if you get to know people that do your. People listen to us. Thank you for listening to us if you do. if you do listen to it, you're like listening to us an hour a week, you know? It's cool to get to know people.
Yeah. Keep sending the emails.
Yeah, send the emails. So we went over to my brother's cookout. That was kind of fun. He got a new garage built and got a grill and everything. He was like super excited.
Oh, okay.
The kids immediately found the first dirt pile in his backyard.
This is
so that was kind of neat.
Memorial Day cookout?
Yeah, Memorial Day. Again, I apologize. This episode is a couple of days late due to the holiday and everything, and us having time to record it. So, but it will be up Thursday. We're recording this literally the night before. Other than that, I've been playing 3 games. One is Code Vein, which if you listen to the podcast or the episode before, I can't remember, we were talking about the board or the Humble Bundle that had this on there.
Right.
I played about an hour and a half of it. It is pretty cool so far. I'm not far enough into it to really comment too much, especially because I was kind of tired when I was playing it. I played some more Cat Quest 2 with my son who deleted our progress. So nothing new there because we're playing the same stuff again. Although we are a little bit farther than when we were when he accidentally deleted it the first time. And lastly, I have been playing a lot of Fantasian. This is the Final Fantasy creators, RPG that's on the Apple Arcade. So essentially it's free. I mean, there's a $5 subscription to Apple Arcade, which has like 100 games plus, like 150 games or something.
Okay.
And you get the first month free. It is fantastic. That's not even meant to be a pun, but like it is really good. Before, when I kind of mentioned it, I only put like maybe 30 minutes into it, 30 or 40 minutes. Now I'm like 6 hours or 7 hours into it or something. It has gotten phenomenal. Like it's really good. Like I would play this on a console. This is, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a AAA title, but it is really close to being a AAA title.
All right.
Maybe not AAA, but AAA as far as like RPGs and stuff. I mean, all the sets in the game are all handmade dioramas that they took cameras and took pictures of them. So it's not 3D environments. It's actually pictures of dioramas they made in real life. And then, you know, when you're doing like Google Street View and you go from one perspective and it goes to the next and it has this like this fade effect.
Yeah.
It does that as you're walking around the map. It's like the camera moves up and it changes the perspective and everything, but it's all handmade dioramas.
Man, somebody needs to gamify Google Street View.
Yeah, I know, like Hey Robot or something.
Oh man. You run around and grab Pokemon or something? I don't know.
Well, I mean, they did that with Pokemon Go, but yeah, as far as a board game goes, that'd be kind of interesting. All right, anyway, let's do the news real quick. Tell us some Kickstarter news here, George.
Well, I got a bunch of Kickstarters this week. We've got Paperback Adventures that I'll mention again. This is the Tim Fowers game, which is sort of running with the idea that came from paperback and hardback. And Paperback Adventures is the roguelike 1 or 2 player game. And right now there's currently a vote going on amongst the backers to determine the name of the pirate villain in the piece. The top 4 names that are left are Redbeard, like red, like you read a book, Redbeard, and versus Plot Hook, which I think is brilliant, I have to say. Plot Hook.
That one's
That's
pretty
really
good.
And then there's Swashbuckler. And that one is up against Captain Iron Knee. So my personal favorite is Plot Hook. But yeah, if you back it, vote for what you like. But
Is this Paperback Adventures or Paperback Pun Adventures?
It's Paperback Adventures. But yeah, if you let people do their own thing, they're coming up with puns. They are.
Yeah, I know. Everybody needs to be a comic, apparently.
And so there's that one. And another one that is sort of a given for me is the Isle of Cats expansion. The Isle of Cats has an expansion. The title of it in Kickstarter is Don't Forget the Kittens. But I don't think that's the actual title of the expansion. I just think that's the title of the Kickstarter. And so the expansion has kittens and it has beasts that are added in, different shaped beasts to cover more of your boards, but there are also extra boards, extra ships with different shapes on the ships. So there's quite a few things to check out, to expand your game there, and definitely worth doing. That's a great game. Then This is one that I've already backed, and it's called Mechanical Beast. The idea is there's this security robot or some sort of like super robot that the world created, and then people created to protect the world or whatever, that's gone mad, and it's invincible. We can't stop it just by blowing it up or anything. And we have to send a team inside the robot to shut it down from the inside, and then get out before it actually totally shuts down, or else you'll be trapped in forever because it's invincible.
Is it a co-op?
It is a co-op. Yeah, so you're running around, and it's really clever the way this is done. There's a map of tiles, and on some of the tiles, there are cogs and rotations and things, so you can go on the tile and activate it, and then that tile or several tiles will shift around and change the map. And so,
kind of like a Tesseract.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so cool the way they do it. And then you run around trying to find the off button so you can power down the robot. Once you hit the off button, then you're running around the same way to get out. As some of the tiles shut down, they're taken away. And you have to get out. You have to get everybody out before the end. It looks amazing.
Huh, that sounds pretty interesting. It sounds kind of like Forgotten Island, or what's it called? Forbidden Island.
Yeah, it maybe in a way, maybe in a sense. Yeah. What was I thinking of when I was looking at this?
Or maybe like Escape Room or whatever, or Escape 25.
Yes, Escape Room. Yeah. 25. Yeah. What is it? Oh my gosh. Room 25. Room 25.
Room 25. This is why you don't record podcasts at like midnight, people.
What we do anyway.
I promise we know these games.
Room 25. That's a great game. Anyway, so here's one.
That's actually what I was picturing in my head when you were explaining it. But at the very end, when you said that the tiles start shutting down, I was picturing Forbidden Island where they're being sunk.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Then there is a game that is blowing up on Kickstarter. It's got 4.5 million, probably more just by the time we finish this podcast. And it's called The Witcher Old World. So this game has some deck building to it, and it has sort of the whole idea of The Witcher, and and the team that is part of the Witcher computer game is on board as well. So yeah, it's going to be very cohesive in terms of the world. It looks really good. It's got lots of minis. It's one of those big, sprawling adventure games, but it is competitive. It's not a co-op. You have 5 different schools of Witcher that, took place several hundred years before the book series. And you're trying to run around and be the best Witchers, I guess, against each other. So I don't know. It seems like there might be a good bit of combat between the Witchers themselves. So you're running around fighting monsters as Witchers are meant to do, but then you can also fight each other. So, but the combat is done by sort of a deck building mechanism, and it looks really, really interesting. Then the last one I'll mention is one that apparently is an extremely popular game that I've never heard of, now coming to board games, and it's called My Singing Monster. It looks silly as anything else, but it's made by the guys who did Junk Art and some other games that are good. Junk Art. Have you played that one, Tim?
I haven't actually played it, but I've seen many people play it.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic.
I debated on purchasing it at one point, but never got around to it. It's one of those games that, you throw in your cart on Miniature Market or wherever you're shop
right?
at, and then you just drop it out. It's my second Elysium, because Elysium was like that for a long time. I guess I'll add it. It's on sale. I really liked it. I'll drop it out. And then now it's like they don't carry it.
Yeah. Well,
so I end up getting into Math Trade.
Yeah, definitely pick it up if you can. That's a really fun dexterity game. Okay, so this is My Singing Monsters. It's from Sen-Foong Lim and Jay Cormier, the designers of Junk Art, and the other one that I couldn't think of was Belfort. So
both of these people are amazing and very, very nice people.
Awesome. Well, the game is cute as anything. It's got all these monsters, but it has this sort of modular system of things that you can add into a worker placement game. So it looks like it's going to work for families for sure. and it'll grow with families. So you can make it to where it gets to be gamery if you put all the modules together. But it definitely looks like a sort of an introductory kind of game. And with this kind of art, it's definitely going to appeal to kids.
It actually looks kind of neat. I wonder if my son would like it.
Right? Yeah. Check this one out. I'm probably going to pick this one up myself just for the art. But I guess it's from a video game where there are these monsters that you move around in this world and find and collect, and they each make various unique sounds, but then you put them together and you've got like this orchestra of monsters that literally makes different kinds of music depending on what your collection of monsters is. So I don't know, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out after the show.
So those are my 5 Kickstarters. 5 or 6? I don't know. Anyway, those are my Kickstarters for this week.
Sweet. All right, well, let's get into some games, but real quick, just to plug Humble Bundle. If you want to support the show, visit MeepleCore.com, click the Humble Bundle partner link in orange. You'll be redirected to Humble Bundle, where you can purchase anything on the site and we'll get a little bit of a kickback. If you purchase a bundle, you can choose a slider near the bottom to choose what percentage of your payment goes to MeepleCore and the charity, the developer, and Humble Bundle. So keep an eye on that. Anyway, just to mention a couple of the bundles going on right now. I mentioned Code Vein earlier. That bundle is still going on for another week or so. I think it's like 6 days. So Code Vein and a bunch of other games, Katamari Damacy Reroll. I mean, there's like 9 games on there. Oddly enough, I think they just changed this, but oh, never mind. Yeah, you just have to click the other. I thought they changed it to where there's no like tiers. You just purchase everything in that bundle, but you have to click a button now instead of scroll down.
Okay, yeah, still tiers. Got it.
Yeah, there's still tiers. So, most people just buy the tier. I mean, it's $20 for all of it, or like $12.99, for, minus 2 games or something.
Yeah, just go with the full.
Yeah, most time I just buy the bundles. There's another bundle on here I'm going to purchase. This one's only $10, but it's like a lot of Guilty Gear games. And I absolutely love Guilty Gear. It's a fighting game, anime fighting game, kind of like Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
And the last thing I'm going to mention is there is a Pathfinder 2nd Edition Bestiary by Paizo bundle on there. There's 40 items. These are all different PDFs from the, is it Bestiary or Bestiary?
Bestiary, yeah.
Bestiary. A bunch of different modules and supplements and map things that all these PDFs and everything. There are 40 items in this bundle for $35.
Yeah.
So if you play Pathfinder, even if you play like D&D 5th edition or anything like that, that's a great buy.
When you say items, these are like full books on PDF, basically.
Either books or like dungeon tiles, because Pathfinder has all these like flip maps, like that comes with a bunch of, sheets of pre-printed maps, things like that. And then there's a lot of the maps and stuff. And then there's other tales, a tome of, I don't know if these are books or whatever. Anyway, check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff on Humble Bundle. You can buy pretty much. There's also software bundles. There's PDFs bundles. There's, learn to code bundles, all kinds of stuff. So check it out. Go to MeepleCore.com. Click our Humble Bundle partner link.
Appreciate it.
We have 3 games that we're going to talk about this time, and that is Fantasy Realms. I did it again, George. I let the Southern come out. Fantasy Realms, Merchants of Magic, and Cape May. So first up on this episode, we are talking about Fantasy Realms.
This is a 2017 release. The tagline is, build the greatest fantasy kingdom by constructing the best hand. And the designer is Bruce Glasgow. The artist is Octographics. And the publisher is WizKids.
So you've probably heard of Fantasy Realms from 2 different reasons. Either because it's recently been nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, or because you played Red Rising and read the blurb inside the booklet that game was based on Fantasy Realms, and he built upon it. Knowing that, we played Fantasy Realms a couple of times, specifically so we can talk about it. We're not going to compare it to Red Rising so much, although I'm sure we'll say some things that will compare it to Red Rising. But the point is, we're going to review this game, not specifically versus each other. Fantasy Realms is a very simple card game. You got a deck of like 53 cards, and there are 10 different suits in this deck, and then there's 3 wild cards. Everybody's going to get 7 cards to begin with, and you're pretty much going to end with 7 cards as well. But what happens is on your turn, you can draw a card, or you have to draw a card, and then you have to discard a card. When you draw a card, you can take it from the top of the deck or from any of the cards face up on the top, in the middle of the table. Because when you discard a card, you have to put it face up in the middle of the table. There is no discard pile. All cards get discarded face up, and you splay them out so everybody can see everything. When the 10th card has been discarded, the game ends, and then the 7 cards in your hand, you're going to score. The way they score, there's all kinds of different things. All the cards have a point value at the top left that you'll get, but they also have scoring methods down in the text box, such as, for every land card that you have, get 10 points. Or if you have this paired with these things, get these extra points.
Right.
Or
plus 8 for every leader. Plus 12 if you have this wizard or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Or some of the cards can be blanked because you have the wrong cards together. If you have a specific weather card that drowns out, I can't remember 100%, but if you have like a weather card that floods stuff, then it might cause your land cards to be blanked out or whatever.
Yes.
Right. Blanked means that they're fully, like, it's a white card. There's nothing else on it. No points or anything. So you want to get rid of those cards during the draw card discard, and then try to cater or try to make your hand
synergize
the best, synergized, the combos, all that stuff. You want to curate your hand to have 7 cards that work together. Yep. That's it. It's a very simple game. Maybe take 30 minutes, if that.
Yeah, that's it.
It depends on how fast people are and how well they know the cards. The more you play this game, the more you're going to get to know all the cards in the deck. I mean, there are only 53 cards. There is an expansion. We're not talking about that one. There is a scoring app by WizKids that is phenomenal for this. You essentially just put the cards that you have, and it tells you your score.
Depending on how well you like math, maybe.
Right.
But
yeah.
I would say get the app and save yourself some trouble.
It also helps with the app for rules questioning, because you may not understand a card, and then maybe people are misinterpreting it or interpreting it differently. Yeah. All that goes away when you add the app, and it's like, nope, you got the point. So obviously it has to be this way.
Is the app an official app? Is it like,
it's an official app? Yeah.
So it's definitely going by the rules.
The app is not updated for the expansion. I read somewhere that they weren't able to upgrade the app, but they do have a web-based version that's official as well that has the expansion on it.
I bet when they get all that spiel money, they'll update it.
Right? Yeah, I mean, this is gonna blow up. If you didn't know what Fantasy Realms was before, now that it's nominated for Spiel, it's expect a lot of expansions at this point. I think.
No, you're probably right, and maybe that's not a great idea, because the base game itself, I don't know if you want to
Yeah, you don't want to convolute it, because if you put too many cards in it, I don't like games where, I like Valley of the Kings, but this is the first one that comes to mind, so I'm not trying to pick on it. But it's essentially, here's an expansion, but you have to choose what you play with. You can't just add it all in and shuffle the deck. It's like, take out all this suit of cards and put all these cards in its place. I hope it doesn't become something like
painful.
That. Either way, though, let's jump back into what we think about Fantasy Realms, and let's have you begin. What did you think about this one?
I think this one, even though when I first approached this one, I thought it's going to be full of orcs and elves, and it's going to be Dungeons and Dragons in a card game, and I'm really not going to like it. But honestly, the theme didn't give me that vibe at all. There's kings and queens and armies and rivers and boats and lands, and there's not that much fantasy in the Fantasy Realms, except that, okay, there's some beasts and some wizards. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Yeah, elfish Archers.
Yeah,
okay.
There's not much of that. There's not much of that.
A volcano.
Yeah. So the theme I don't think was oppressive to me, and also this is a really quickly understood game. But there's a lot to think about. There's so much in your decision every time, since you only get to keep 7 cards, and trying to work out the interactions between them and what the best move is for you. It's really simple and pleasant. You draw a card and you lay a card down. And I love the fact that you're all going to end up with the same number of cards, so you all have a fairly equal chance in the game. And it's just an amazing filler that is a lunchtime game, and one you could play over and over and have enjoyment from.
Exactly. I think if you had a lower player count, I mean, this plays up to 6. If you had 3 to 4 people, you can knock this thing out in 10, 15 minutes, especially if you've all played it 3 or 4 times.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you've played the game enough times to where you know all the cards, I'm not saying you have to memorize the deck, but you understand what to expect, right? Your turns are super fast. About the longest turn is the beginning, or when somebody puts a card down, everybody flocks over it and starts looking at that card. What do you put down?
I want that card? Yeah.
But I really like it. I mean, it is a good filler. The good news about it being quick and, an under 20-minute game is that the one negative I had about the game is kind of put to the wayside because it's not as big of a deal. But you could get on shuffle and deal a really good hand of 7 cards.
Sure.
Or at least maybe 5 of your 7 just work perfect together.
And then you're just looking to,
Yeah, then you just speed run the game for everyone. Yep. Don't give everyone enough time to finish.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm assuming that's not a very common thing to happen, but it will happen. There's only 53 cards.
Yes. But here's the thing. You don't know that your particular hand of cards that work together that you think is really good. You don't know that it's going to beat the other guy's hand of 7 cards that might work together. It's kind of like poker in that way.
Correct. Yeah. You have a really good hand, but they just happen to have a better hand.
Yeah.
Or in the time it took you to try to speed the game along, they got the cards they needed. Right. And that's what I'm saying. I don't believe it's that big of a deal that you just get 7 random cards at the beginning, but some people could get better cards than others to start with. So that is a thing, but it's just a quick game. So it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah. And I know we're not comparing this to Red Rising necessarily, but the fact
it's inevitable
that it is shorter and quicker, and this honestly is a filler as opposed to Red Rising, I think that makes this one superior for me.
That's fair. I actually believe after playing Fantasy Realms that I'm 100% fine with owning both. Because I do like Red Rising. I like the complications that were added to it to make it a deeper game. But there's something to say about it operates like a traditional card game in the sense that, say no one knows how to play it, you sit down, you shuffle the deck, you just deal out cards, and you're explaining the game as you deal out cards. You got 7 cards, you draw a card, you put a card down. Once there's 10 cards face up on the table, game ends, you count up score. Well, what's the score? Just look at your cards. There's numbers at the top left and they tell you down below.
Tell them what blanking means and you're good to go.
Yeah, tell them what blanking means. That's about the only thing you really need to explain. Everything else is very clear on the cards, even if you never played the game. The only other thing you might mention, if people want to know it, is that there are 10 suits. Right? So
yes.
It's likely that you may not see a lot. I mean, you go through the deck pretty quick, and especially if you're playing with upper amounts of people.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of a deck, which is also nice.
Right. Man, with 6 people, that's literally 42, is that right? 6 times 7?
Is 42, yeah.
So you only have 11 cards in the deck at that point? That's crazy. I think it's probably better with a lower player count, to be honest. The community says 2 to 5 and best with 2 to 3. I would say 3 people is great.
Yeah.
I'm okay with a 4th person. That's my range for this game for sure.
Which is a great number for a game like this. A 3-player top. That's great.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, lunchtime, not that anybody's, I mean, we're getting back to work and stuff in the office, but I can see a lot of people who, in the traditional sense, they take their lunch in a, break room type of deal.
Yeah.
Bam.
Knock it out.
Bust this out. Play a game or even 2 games, depending on how many people you have.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. What about being nominated for Spiel? I mean, we kind of talked about that last episode, but
I think it's deserving, and I don't say that about fillers that often. So
it's super unique.
Yeah, it's good. I'm trying to think what it's up against. Is it there with something like, I don't know, Lost Ruins of Arnak or something? Like it has no chance. But if it's but is it in the category with Micro Macro? Is it that one?
No, I think it was with Lost Ruins or whatever.
Really? Gosh. If it's in the category with Micro Macro, it'll beat that for sure. Or it should. And then and then the other one was The Adventures of Robin Hood. That was in that category. So
yeah.
It'll have a harder time against that, but I think I probably would give it to this. I haven't played The Adventures of Robin Hood.
Well, we don't have to talk about like which one we would give it to. I'm just saying, is this a game that's worthy of being nominated for an award?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. I think elegant.
So too.
It's very straightforward, and it's a filler that you could play for a long time and not get tired because there's so many combinations.
The other game was Paleo.
In this one's category?
Yeah, Paleo, Lost Ruins, and Fantasy
Oh, man.
Realms.
All right. Well,
things change, but I mean, we don't have to go into that.
Okay. Yeah.
The point is, though, I agree. I think it's not worthy of it is worthy of a nomination and possibly even a win.
Yeah, it should have been in the
Obviously,
other category.
That's debatable.
It's not heavy enough to be in this category.
No, I think it's a super light game. I don't see how this is even remotely comparable to Lost Ruins of Arnak.
No.
I'm not saying that Lost Ruins of Arnak is a superior game, but I'm saying the weight difference between them.
It's ridiculous.
It's weird category choice. But yeah, it's a great game. It's super unique. Nothing else did this at all. I'm glad that it is nominated, though, because I couldn't find a copy, and now I'm guaranteed that there is a reprint coming.
Yeah, they're coming into English.
And some expansions and a Kickstarter with a big box, and that's fine with me. I'm totally fine. Even if I just get the base game, I'll be 100% fine. Because this is definitely a type of game where we don't have a lot of time left at the end of the game night. Bust this out, play it.
Or start of the game night. This is fantastic filler.
Agreed. I don't know. I think we're pretty much done. This is a great game you should buy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this will
deck of cards. How much could it be? It'll be fine.
Right. If you don't like it, you didn't spend that much time playing it. So
I wouldn't give it a couple chances. Spend a lot of money on it. We usually don't talk about price, but like it is just a deck of cards. So
yeah, it's 53. It's one more card than a deck of cards. So yeah, I mean, $20 maybe.
Yeah. Use a deck of cards, make your own. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Know about that. That's a joke.
That would take forever. All right. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up, but final thoughts. 100% purchase this. Even if it doesn't look interesting by looking at the arts, like the art's okay. I don't think it's amazing or anything.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
The game itself is fantastic.
Yep. Agreed.
That is Fantasy Realms. So the next game we have on this episode is Merchants of Magic, a Set-A-Watch Tale.
A 2021 release. This is a crunchy roll and write in which you play as the merchant of an item shop. And it is designed by Clarence Simpson. The artists are Boris Stanishik and T.L. Simons, and the publisher is Rock Manor Games.
I was laughing because you used the word crunchy.
Well,
it's a crunchy roll and write.
It's in the title. It's in not the title, but the tagline on BGG. Somebody submitted a crunchy roll and write.
Oh, it's good stuff.
In which you play as the merchant of an item shoppy. It has a SHOPPE spelling for shop.
Is that like the English spelling or something?
It's the old English spelling, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, just as we said, it is a roll and write game. And in this game, it's fairly simple, right? There are 4 dice in the middle of the table that are going to be rolled each round. And you're going to select 2 of these dice that you're going to use and spend on all these different accessories, weapons, armor, enchantments, right? Essentially, there are around 15 choices on each side of the paper. And like, for instance, if you want to craft a scroll or a ring, you would need a 2 and a 6, but it requires specific dice. So you need a 2 or higher on the red die and the 6 or higher on the red, purple, or yellow die. Once you complete both of those numbers, then you can craft rings. So let's talk about that. Each player, depending on the player count, you will get these order cards. Typically it's 3 order cards, but if you're playing with a high or low player count, it could be more. But those are the things you're going to craft for points. So each round, you're going to have 3 cards in front of you, pretty much. I'm just going to base it off the 2 to 6 player, because the game plays up to 8, but 2 to 6 players is most of the player count.
Right.
Anyway, you're going to have these order cards, and if you complete any of the stuff that the order card says, then you get to take that order card and place it face down in front of you. For instance, there might be a plate armor of the dragons, right? All these order cards will require you to have 2 to 3 things completed. So there's a suffix enchantment, there's a prefix enchantment, and then the item. So you might have a fiery plate armor of the dragons, that you would have to have fiery completed. You would have to have of the dragons and plate armor.
And the plate armor as the item type would be on the left of your board, and the other 2 would be something you completed from the right of your board.
Correct. And on the right-hand side, which is research onto these, researching these enchantments, it requires a specific dice or 2 of that number or lower. So for instance, to get everlasting, you would need a 3 or lower on the yellow or green die and a 9 or lower on the green die by itself. Like, you can't use any other dice for that space. So again, you will roll all 4 dice. You will choose 2 of those dice. You will mark off things on your sheet. And then that's most of the round. After everybody's done this, right? And as you're doing that, you also can craft the cards in front of you, the orders or whatever. But after you're done doing that, there's a mastery phase, which we'll come into in a minute. It's just basically like an achievement or a goal that you can work towards. And then there is the last phase where you're actually going to pass the order cards to the left. So the order cards are a very key factor in the crunchiness to this game, because you have to look ahead to the players to the right and left to see what they would have and what's coming to you in the future, and kind of build around that. On top of it, you also have a sponsored hero, and this sponsored hero, everybody gets 1. They effectively work as if they have 3 orders on them. For example, the one that's called the Warrior has the Grimoire of the Dwarves, Crossbow of the Dwarves, and Bracers of the Dwarves. So you can build those things, and once you complete all 3, you flip him down, and he would be worth 6 points, which is a kind of a low point cost for having 3 things completed. However, the sponsored adventure also has a spot on your sheet where the first one that you complete, the first order of the 3, will actually give you some potions. The second one will allow you to mark any spot on your board for free. The third one allows you to do the same, mark any spot for free, and then flip them face down and get the points from it. So those are pretty powerful if you go that route. But I also wanted to mention the potions, because the potions are a mitigation technique for the game. As you get potions, and you will get them if you complete things. So if you complete all the circles for crossbow, then now you can craft crossbows, but you also get a potion for completing that. There's some charms that you can complete as well, which are like in-game scoring. So you might get 2 extra points for accessories, but there's also one of those that you complete just to get potions. You can use potions to increase or decrease the die result on a die. So if like you need a 7 or lower on the green die to get one of the circles completed for divine, but the die was rolled and it's a 9, you can spend 2 potions to degrade that for yourself down to a 7 or lower. You can also use potions for extra dice. So each round you can only select 2 of the dice that were rolled. However, if you like a 3rd or even the 4th die, you can mark one of the 6 spots on your extra dice to claim those other dice as well. So 6 times throughout the game, you could get extra dice. However, the 4th, 5th, and 6th actually cost you potions to get. Anyway, back to the mastery thing. There are columns on your sheets that are called like steel, wood, leather. It's just the columns of these circles that you're filling in.
Indicates what the dice are. Yeah,
pretty much. And those masteries are basically whoever marks, for instance, magician says mark 5 circles in the arcane column, right? Everybody who does that will get 8 points for that round. But then you flip that card face down and now it's only 4 points. And then once everybody claims that, then no one else can claim that mastery. So it's not like you're fighting for it. Everybody who gets it on that round actually gets the full amounts, but then it degrades. There's only 2 of those in the game at a time, and those are random at the beginning during setup.
Like the speed global objective.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it. And then that's it. At the end of each round, you're going to pass the cards to the left and start a new round by rolling the 4 dice. It doesn't matter who rolls them. Everybody plays off the same dice roll. Then you will count up all the points that you have for various things. How many points you have, because each thing that you craft is worth points in the orders. On top of that, each of the different things on your sheet give you points as well. So if you make rings, that gives you points. If you make divine, that gives you points. You get points for all kinds of stuff. And then whoever has the most points wins, as always. George, what you think about this one?
Well, first of all, I don't know anything about the Set a Watch game or series or the world. I don't know anything about it. So I'm not sure why it's Merchants of Magic, a Set a Watch tale, but this is a very straightforward roll and write. It has nice fantasy art. Not that that's necessarily a positive for me, but if you're going to do it, this art is okay. It's pretty good. In fact, it's probably one of the better ones, I would say, as far as the art goes. But it's just mostly items anyway, so that it's not too hard, I guess. And then you have just a very standard, you roll your dice and you check little boxes with them. When you check enough boxes, you get to check other boxes. Like, I am not a fan of roll and writes. Like, I own one. I think it was one of the first ones to come out, and I don't need any more. Like, there are so many of these. They just keep coming out with them over and over and over. And they're all so similar, and I don't care. And this is another one of those. But if you're going to go and do a roll and write, this is okay. You know what I mean? This is, it does exactly what it sets out to do. And I had a decent time playing it.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit above that and say I'm purchasing this when it comes. We played this on Tabletopia. It is really good. Here's the thing. Because you pass the order cards, that just blows the game up for me. It's
it definitely helps. You have to plan ahead, and that's a big positive.
It matters. It's not a multiplayer solitaire game where most roll and writes are, where they just roll and it's whoever makes the least mistakes or whoever puts the right things in the right time at the right round. This is truly, you have to look at the person to your right and say, what are they going after? They're not going to craft that. Or maybe 2 people to your right and say, that person's not going to craft that. And if it comes to the person to the right of me, I know they're not going to craft it. So I have 2 turns to get the stuff ready to build that. Yep. But is it worth building? Because there's only 1 shield out of all the cards that everybody has currently. There's only 1 shield. So if I put a bunch of, so that's probably why they're not building it, because it's pointless to build shields right now. And who knows how many shields are going to come out. So you do have to look around and say, okay, there's, say you're playing with 5 people, you have 15 order cards in play, and maybe a lot of those are of the orcs. All right, cool. That's a really good thing to go for, but everybody else might see that. So it's a really crunchy roll and write in that aspect. That's why I like that word.
They did say,
because you're really paying attention. They did say that. It makes you look at the other players and really keep track of what they're doing. In most roll and write games, I could care less what you're doing.
Okay, that is an excellent point. This one does stand out in terms of that. And the fact that you have all these different dice of, they're not just D6s helps as well, that you have, several different kinds of dice. And you have to decide, are you using this die, and where are you using it? Because you can use it to go higher than this number, or you can use it to go lower than that other number. The columns that you choose. There are a lot of decisions in this game. And so this does elevate it over a lot of other roll and writes, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also, it has the economy of the potions for mitigation. So you're not just limited to, you can mitigate a certain number of times and everybody can do that. No, it depends on how many potions you get. So do you go after potions in order to give yourself that flexibility? And then do you spend them wisely? That's another level to this game that I think is quite good.
Agreed. The potions were really good. You didn't get a lot of them, but you got enough of them you don't feel like you're really messed up, Because here's what you think. Okay, I need to get an 8 or lower on the green die. And right now the green die is like a 10. So it's like, I can spend 2, but the green die is a 12-sided die and I only need an 8 or lower. So I'll just wait until next round. Then that person rolls and it's a 12. And you're like, seriously? Yeah. Right. And so there is that push your luck aspect of, when do I spend the potions to get it to where I need it? Or just wait one more round to see. But that one round shifts all those order cards one more space. And so now your timer is coming up. When people complete order cards, they'll put them face down in front of them and draw a new one, but that goes face down. So you don't even know what it is until they're passed. So it is fantastic. I love this roll and write. I don't think I would like it with a lot of people. I know it says 8 players. I don't think I would ever play it with 8 people. It's like a drafting game where you never get the hand back that you started drafting from. That's the brilliant that's what I like about drafting games is you have 8 cards, but there's only 4 people and you're going to see that hand again.
Right. Yeah, it would.
And that's what I like. That's what I would like about this is all those order cards are out, but I would like to get those back around to me and kind of anticipate that rather than always getting new order cards every round. Yeah. Because you have so many people.
Maybe best with 3 or 4.
Yeah, I would say 3 or 4. 5 if you really need to push it.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt you. It's good. This is good. Having looked at some of those considerations, if you're getting a roll and write, this is a good one. And then please stop making roll and writes, everybody.
Yeah, I retired and he made the best. No. There is one thing I kind of meh about the game, and it's that sponsored hero.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay.
Starting off and you're sort of railroaded into this certain path. And if that happens to line up with the, what were they called? Mastery cards, then, happy days for you. But
I don't even know about that, but let's just say, cause all the heroes have one thing. They have 3 orders on them, but there's one thing always in common. Like the one was of the dwarves, but the other one might be like divine, and it's 3 different items that use divine.
Oh,
but if there's a bunch of order cards out there that have divine winning, cause you're already
going to get you down that path already. I don't like that.
And that's why I ignored mine when we played, because of the dwarves was not something that was showing up on any of the order cards.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for me to really push against it. Now I ended up doing it anyway, because the first thing that you complete from it gives you a bunch of potions, and that was kind of neat. However, in retrospect, I don't know. I mean, I guess I did pretty well, but it just seems like if there's a lot of one thing out there and your hero card needs it as well, then it just kind of happened to be good for you.
Yeah, it's just here you go. You get it's like you start the race several steps ahead.
Exactly. It may not make you win. I'm not saying it's that drastic, but it is something that can be considered. I don't know. Maybe they could be done a little differently. Yeah. It's not that terrible though. I'm okay with it just being in there. If anything, and I can't remember based on the setup, if you do it in this order, you could pass out all the order cards and then give everybody a couple of those sponsored heroes, and then you just pick the one that you want. So maybe everybody has a better chance at getting something that's already out there that you would go for. So there's a really easy way to kind of mitigate that for everyone at the same time. But that's about the only thing and the masteries were okay. It's cool to have those out there, and they were good points.
Sure.
Right. I don't feel like I needed to go after them.
Maybe they need more, like having just 2 objectives available and they're both quite similar. Maybe there needs to be more of that in the game to give you more avenues. I don't know.
I think on the Tabletopia, I don't know about the actual release, but it was just 3 of each. You use one for one of the three on the left and one on the three on the right.
Yeah.
So they're very basic. I mean, there could be other cool things too.
No, that weren't on the Tabletopia. Okay.
Right. There could be. I don't know. I'm not saying they're not done well. I mean, they're done okay.
Yeah.
Right. I like the fact that everybody can score them. Like, oh, he's about ready to score it. Do I put this last die for this round in this column that I don't really need it to be in just to get the mastery of 8 points, or go after what I was trying to complete? So there's some cool dilemma that you'll put forward, from that.
Okay. And speaking of Tabletopia, shout out to Tabletopia, the people who made this one on Tabletopia. What a brilliant idea to make those little circles that you can just grab from a pile and put on your sheet. You don't actually have to draw a circle, which is a disaster for, like most of these roll and writes on COVID times. Like, and little X tokens that you just grab from a pile and put onto your paper as well. There's no drawing. There's no messing around with stamps.
And stacks of every number.
Yeah, it's so simple. What a great job.
Yeah, I recommend at least playing this on Tabletopia if you have a chance. Even if you don't really play roll and writes, you might be surprised. It's a little clunky, but that's just Tabletopia, not this
That's
game.
Right. They did the best they possibly could with Tabletopia, considering.
Exactly. But I quite like it a lot. And I'm looking forward to picking up a copy of it. So
I'll play it again.
Fair enough. All right. Anything else? Is that it?
Correct?
All right. That's our final thoughts. That is Merchants of Magic. And last up for this episode, we are talking about Cape May.
A 2021 release. Build wealth and prestige by developing the seaside city of Cape May, New Jersey. The designer is Eric Masso. The artist is Michael Menzel. And the publisher is Thunderworks Games,
which is a game company and artist I tremendously respect. Just throwing that out there before we talk about the game.
Agreed.
Cape May is a quote unquote roll and move game, but you're going to be using cards to move around on this board. There's the city of Cape May, which is a bunch of streets with blocks that are empty, and you're going to play a movement card. Well, you have 7 different actions or so that you can play on your turn, and you're going to do a few of those each round. So, or you get 3 actions each round. You can do the same one multiple times or whatever, but you got a list of actions that you can do. One of those actions is you can play a movement card from your hand, which is just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Some of these actually cost money to do as well. When you do that, you have to move that many spaces, and some of the spaces on the roads force you to move in a direction, like one-way streets or whatever. When you finally land, you're going to be on a space. Maybe that space is an intersection of 2 streets. Maybe that space has a special character or a special emblem on it, such as the bird, which allows you to draw bird tokens from the bag. And those are in-game scoring opportunities. There's a couple of other spaces too, but mostly you're going to be next to spaces where you can build, for lack of a better term, squares or hexagons. These squares or hexagons are basically buildings or businesses. If you're watching the video, I guess I didn't take a screenshot too close of the thing, but that's fine. So you can build these like cottages or shops. And when you build those, they'll go down on the space that you're in, and you can upgrade them as a different action into like Victorian buildings or landmarks or better versions of the shops. I don't remember the name of that. But each time you build something, it's going to raise you on the income track, and the income track will give you point or money at the start of each season. So you play the game over 4 seasons, which is essentially 12 rounds that you play the game. So everybody's going to get 36 actions throughout the whole game because you get 3 actions on each round. Some of the other things you can do, I won't go into all the rules, even though the game is pretty simple. You can get these activity cards, and those are kind of like, as your action, you can play them, and they'll do stuff like do this or do this, right? Like maybe you can upgrade twice, or you can upgrade any empty lot on the board. You don't have to be next to it. Or maybe you can move a really random amount of spaces based on some factor. There's all kinds of different cards there. When you upgrade the shops, you actually get to draw cards from this upgrade deck, which will give you a couple of different things. possibly in-game scoring, or maybe it'll do one-time effects where you can draw new cards. Maybe it'll have one-time effects that happen each round. Like each, what was you had? I think you had one where when you draw bird tokens from the bag, you get to draw 2 and pick one or something.
Yeah, that was one that I had. Yeah.
So there's all kinds of stuff that way as well. For the most part, that's most of the game, other than just, the strategy of it. But the last thing I will mention at the end of, I forgot to mention that at the beginning of each round, there's also an event card that's drawn, and that will do something. Like whoever, you get $1 for every Victorian house that you have, or, this happens and it places a fire on all these different blocks, and you can still build there, but maybe it is, more expensive to do so. Usually it's like a couple dollars extra. At the end of the game, you're going to get scoring for a bunch of different things. There are 4 sections of the city. There's gravel, there's grass, there's dirt, and there's the beachfront. And the farther to the beachfront that you get, the more points that your Victorian houses and your landmarks are going to be worth. And then you also score majorities. So whoever has the most buildings in the gravel section will get a lot of points, and then whoever has the second most gets some more points. And that majorities go down. So the beachfront, you're not really trying to control a large portion of it. You want to control the gravel because it's worth 12 points if you're first place, whereas the beachfront is only worth 4 points if you're first place, and then the other 2 are in between that. That's for the most part the game. If we need to explain anything else, we'll do it while we're talking about our opinions. Just for the sake of not trying to explain an entire game. I just want to give you an idea. Basically, you're just moving around and building buildings. So I'll start with this one because I really want to make something clear here. I love everything that Thunderworks Games has made so far.
Everything, really?
All of their games I like. I like Role Player. I like Lockup. I like Cartographers. I like all the expansions to all their games. I guess I haven't played a couple of the games that they've published, like Skull Hollow.
Yeah.
I think you played that.
Yeah, I got rid of that one.
That's fair. So far, though, everything they have is amazing. I love it all. And Michael Menzel is a great artist and everything.
He is. I'm definitely agreeing with you there.
He is a fantastic artist.
It's beautiful.
It is actually not a bad game to experience. Like when I was playing the game and I finished the game, I was like, each round I was doing some cool stuff. I was thinking strategy or whatever. It's really when you come to a review of the game that it really falls apart. And it falls apart for many different reasons. And I'm not sure that it actually is an experience reason, right? So as you're playing the game, it's really fun. I had a lot of fun playing it. In the end, I could pick it apart though. And that's why I want to preference all this with this. So let's start with this one. I feel like the bird tokens were tacked on because you can absolutely do a strategy where you go to the top left of the board, run around, grab bird tokens by the plethora.
Well, you can get up to 3 around that way.
You get up to 3 around, right? You get more than that because if you have like certain movement cards, like the one you had to allow you to move 9, I mean, you can make a whole lap that way.
Right there, but there was never a time that I was able to get more than 3 per round.
That's fair.
The way that they separate the bird spots, they always require you to use a certain number of cards for, in terms of your actions
to get around.
Yeah, and you only get 3 actions. So
either way, just FYI, I did pretty good as far as points. George beats me and didn't really do anything besides collect bird tokens.
I did great at that, though.
He did great at that. Now, I guess you can argue the fact that, so the way the bird tokens work is there's a bunch of different pictures of birds, and you have a set of birds at the end of the game. There are 7 of them, right? Each unique bird is part of a set. So if you have 2 of the same bird, you would put those in 2 different sets, and they're increasing scoring for having more birds. So obviously having 7 unique birds is like 21 points, whereas having like 2 is like 2 points or whatever, right? So you get more points. Real quick note on that, and I won't take credit for this because we read a comment on BGG that pointed this out. It is a very odd way to increase scoring. What's it called? Like progression.
Yeah, it's this number of points between each bird that you have is a bit wonky.
Yeah, it's +1, +3, +2, +3, +5, +6. I mean, why does it dip down? Like mathematically, why is that? It doesn't, experience wise, no one really cares. And maybe most people won't even notice. I don't know why that is. I would really need to hear an explanation from the designer or somebody why that was necessary to dip down once and then jump up
Maybe
twice.
because
or jump up.
the bird people were just making too much.
Yeah, maybe. In most games, it's like progressive scoring, and this is just a weird pattern. Not that that's a big deal, but it's worth pointing out because it doesn't make any sense to me, right? I didn't design the game, but it is kind of weird that you would start to get less and then just jump up immediately. That's weird. The bird tokens, though, even with that being said, I feel like it was tacked on. It's just not, I would rather collect bird tokens while playing the game. I absolutely mostly just ignored them.
It gave me a reason to play the game.
Well, that's fair because our animal over here.
Yeah, but also building houses is something I don't care about.
Well, okay. I mean, some people might like building houses, but what I'm trying to say is you have to go out of your way to get the bird tokens because they're never next to a spot where you can build normally. It's always in like intersections where you land there and you can't. I never found at all throughout the entire game where I was so low on movement cards or had the wrong movement cards and was like, well, I might as well not move next to something I can spend actions on building. I'll just spend this one extra movement to move in the middle of the intersection to draw from the bag. It just seems like a very unnecessary part of the game. I would rather the bird tokens be on spaces that you're not necessarily going to go to all the time, but you're going there because, you know, maybe,
it draws you into the rest of the game.
Right.
Yeah. It is strange that I went through the game without building much of anything.
Right. You didn't build that much. But when you move around, you're usually next to 2 plots of land to build on. Maybe put the bird tokens on spaces where you're only next to 1. Stuff like that, right? That would just make better sense to me. The bird tokens were meh. I've got a lot to go over, so maybe we'll just jump back and forth. Give us a thought.
Well, I'm agreeing with most of what you say, although I do appreciate the fact that there are birds in the game. I think, it's lovely, has great art, makes it fun, but and I did have fun with the game, except it's not enough, running around getting the bird tokens. Like, yes, there was a certain pattern in the top corner of the game that I needed to maximize in order to have a chance. And I realized that. And so I did it. And my turns became do this again and do that again.
Right. But if you deviated from that strategy, you would do terrible.
Yeah.
It's like you committed and had to stick with it.
And I ended up, beating you, but it's not a fun thing to do.
And I don't think it's a strategy that 2 or more people could do. If one person starts it and they're going heavy on it, I think everybody else is going to be like, let's ignore it, because then you start thinning the bag. I mean, I guess you can argue, well, you kind of need to start doing it so you can't draw from it. Yeah, but who's going to sacrifice their turns to do that, to fight against George?
And
especially when, you can win without birds, really.
Yeah, the player who won had they had birds, but not really. They got their birds from getting those cards that you get for building houses. So that is...
Yeah, he wasn't stepping on the spots.
He wasn't stepping on the spots. And he still got some birds, and it was enough to put him over, the rest of us.
And that's what I was saying. Like, that's how the game should have had him integrated. Where the birds are something else that you get for maybe doing actions that aren't as powerful as other actions, but not completely because you're going after them instead of building buildings. It's just, okay, well, enough on the birds. There's some other things about the game too, like landmarks. They're always $10 to build, or to upgrade to, but they're not worth the same amount of points. They actually get more points if they're on the sand or on the beach than they are in the gravel. However, and that's fine. I get it. Maybe you're not needing to go down to the gravel or the sand or whatever. And so building landmarks up top is a way to get points, because you only get points for Victorian buildings and landmarks other than the majority scoring, which scores the shops and the other stuff. But the problem is those 2 cards that you get at the beginning, which I didn't mention, you get these goal cards at the beginning of the game. You actually get a couple and you pick. I think you get 4 and you pick 2. Those really dictate what you're going to do. And a lot of those will say if you have landmarks in certain areas. So now you're forced to go build landmarks in places that aren't as worth it. You know, it's just, that really drove me to do something specific, and I achieved it.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that aspect myself.
Almost too restricting, and you have to do them because there are a ton of points in comparison to in-game scoring.
Yeah. And then
percentage-wise.
The thing is, I had this strategy of going off and getting birds, but none of my objective cards had a thing to do with birds. So I was just dropping all those points right there.
Yeah, you didn't score any of those, which is crazy because, again, I scored all mine, which is, I think, 8 points apiece. I got 16 points out of that. You didn't do a single thing, and you still beat me. You know what I mean? Like,
and the winner of the game happened to have ones that coincided with what he was already doing.
And the other thing about the game is there's almost no restrictions. And ironically, we were talking about another game last week where there was too many restrictions. Yeah. And this one seems like it almost needed some restrictions, meaning that you can't block each other. So if I go to a space, you can move there. You can move past me or whatever. The map is so big, it doesn't matter if you're playing with 3 or 4 players. I mean, there's 2 sides of the board, I think, based on player count. But even with 4 players, I never really felt like somebody went and took a spot that I was trying to build in, ever.
Yeah, well, there is the idea of area
maybe if
control.
You play this game a bunch and you get... area control, yeah, that's one thing. Yeah. But it's not like I got in a space because of those one-way streets or whatever, where these next 5 plots of land is where I can build. You know, the other person looked over and saw the movement cards I played and determined I can only land here or here. You know what I mean? Like, none of that ever happens.
Mattered.
Like, that's not... It never matters, right? And on top of that, the activity cards are so freeform. Okay, well, you block me. I'm going to play this card, allows me to build anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's almost too much circumventing the rules with some of the activity cards going on. Like, and it just didn't feel as restrictive as it should have been. It's like you're just doing your own thing the whole time, I guess is what you're saying. Like, I like Euro games where it's a bunch of indirect conflict. I moved here. I took the spot from you because I got there first. I didn't really try to take it from you. You know what I mean? It's not like a take that game, but you can impede on what other players' strategies are just by kind of getting in their way. I don't see that here.
No, it didn't happen. Didn't happen.
I feel like that would be okay in a family weight game. This game is really long. This is not a short game. Now, I'm not saying it's like a 3-hour game or anything.
Yeah, it's definitely not heavy. It's not heavy.
I think 3 seasons would have been okay, guys. I mean, I get it. There's 4 seasons in a year, but after 3 seasons, I was kind of ready.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I was.
It just overstayed its welcome a little bit. Yeah. And let's talk about your favorite part of the game and the rotating first player marker.
Oh my gosh!
Tell us about that. Tell us about that, George.
I've actually forgotten how much I hated that. I hate this. I hate this in board games when you have a rotating player marker so that, okay, I take a turn, I'm first player, then, everyone else takes a turn, whatever. Then I pass the player marker to the next person to my left. They take a turn. Everyone else takes a turn before I get a turn again. Like, I can go 6 turns without playing until I finally get another turn. It's miserable.
And it's almost not even necessary at all. We looked at the entire event deck and there's a couple of cards. I think there's like 30 or so events. There's a couple that matter.
It's almost never necessary. When is this necessary in a game? Just don't do it, people.
Well, if it had stuff like in player order, do this. That would make sense. But you could still just pass around the first player marker as more of like a token. And you just resolve the events from that token, but still keep the player order the same.
Absolutely. Don't make someone wait 6 rounds or 6 turns.
That was kind of annoying. And considering the fact that the map, this is another testament to what I said earlier, where I don't feel like anybody was trying to take my stuff because the map's so big. I could wait 6 turns and still do what I wanted.
Yeah, right.
And achieve the same results.
You know what you're doing?
Don't think that,
yeah.
Like, I don't think passing the first player marker is necessary at all. And again, like I was saying, there's only a couple of cards in the event deck where it would actually matter. Yeah. Most of the time it's get $2 for these type of buildings. Who cares what order it is then? Or put these fire tokens out and now it costs more money. Okay, who cares?
Yeah, this should have been simultaneous play, this whole game.
I don't know about that. But there was one event card where everybody in turn order gets to build a building next to a building they already have. That would make sense for player turn order. There's 1 to 2, maybe 3 cards in the entire event deck that I saw that would matter on passing the event, the first player marker. I would rather just pass it as a token to be resolved and just keep the same player order the whole time.
Absolutely with you on that. That one, that drives me nuts every time it's in a game. Has no place in this game.
And on top of that, there's the seasons track, right? Like each round is one of the 4 seasons and it has like a cool little icon.
Doesn't mean a thing.
It didn't seem it like some of the events would be like if it's this icon instead, like for instance, if it's winter, you get less money or more money or whatever. I don't feel like they capitalized on that design very well.
There was no feeling that, oh, it's winter now, something will be different. No.
Yeah, like the events almost needed to have really cool effects early game and a lot of detrimental effects later. Like it's winter. Oh, building costs a lot more money because labor is expensive during the winter.
Right.
Whatever.
Something to let you feel the season.
Yeah. The events were, for the most part, pretty lame.
Yeah.
Everybody get $1. Woo! Everybody pass go. Woo!
I mean, or how about having different birds available during different seasons? That seems realistic.
I mean, that could be cool. You're focusing on the birds, though. I'd be fine with just taking them out of the game. They're probably thematic, though, so
I'm not
tying them in a little bit more.
It's the middle of winter, and I pulled a hummingbird. Great. You know what I mean? Like, how'd that happen? But fine. I don't think there's actually hummingbirds, but you get my point.
Right, there's blimps.
Yeah, the blimps don't belong in the game either.
And those were kind of a weird thing. There's a couple of tokens in the bag that just give you straight points. They can't be added to a set.
And there
or
are
whatever.
cards when you build a house, or not a house, but a building. When you build a storefront or something, you get these cards, and some of them are just points, which is incredibly boring.
Yeah. It'd be cool if they were shuffled like early game cards, late game cards, maybe. Because when you get to take those upgrades, that is one thing I like about the game is when you pick an upgrade card, you get to choose the one that's face up or draw to and select one of those. And then you put the one you didn't select on the bottom.
Yeah, that's good.
That was a cool little aspect. But the money part of it is kind of interesting too, because I felt like I never had money problems ever.
No, really.
You just build a couple of shops and it just gives you so much money. And by the end of the game, the problem is though, at the end of the game, they're not worth anything because shops don't score points. But you have so much money, you just run around, build all the landmarks and all that stuff. I don't feel like the economy of the game was that dramatic as far as, oh man, I only have $2. I need $1 more to do this.
No, really, because
especially because there's an action just to get $3,
which nobody ever did. Maybe you did it once.
I think I did it one time throughout the game. Yeah.
And you lost. So that's why. But the thing is, it seems so clear in a game like this. Nothing should be clear to me if it's an economic game, but in this one, it seems like it's a no-brainer. You go and you build some of these businesses first, then you have your economy, then you build the houses. You don't start off building houses and running out of money. It just seems it was perfectly clear.
Yeah, it was perfect, which is good if it's not a deep game. But all right, anyway, we're going to finish this up. I don't want to harp on the game that much, but here's the thing. I always want to mention this when we do a game review of a game that we have a lot to say that's negative, right? Number one, this game was actually fun to play. I just feel like in the end, when I go through and nitpick these type of things, it seems like the game isn't fully designed or it's in a prototype stage. If that was the case, I would say I have a lot of expectation from this game to be really good when it's fleshed out, right?
Yeah. House rule this one, guys.
Some of these things maybe their opinion, that's fine. Everybody's opinionated, right? But when I have an opinion, I don't just say, I didn't like the game because it wasn't fun. I don't like drafting. I mean, I was pretty specific on all these points where I'm getting down to the math on how things work, right? I don't see how other people didn't see this. I don't get playtesters being, this mathematically in the background. Maybe the math works out, but it didn't seem like it to me. It just seems like this is supposed to be more of a family weight game. It's a little bit too long for that, I think. There's a lot of things to consider. I mean, I guess if it is a family weight game, then maybe all the big player board and having all these activity cards that where you can circumvent a lot of the building rules and restrictions, maybe that's a good thing for that type of game. But I consider this more of a medium weight game, or like light to medium, like in that line, right? It's not a hard game, not at all. But the length of, it says 60 minutes to 120. It is definitely like an hour and a half for sure.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit too long to consider it like a family game. So that's why I'm kind of saying more of a medium weight game. And I don't know, man. I just think that it needed a little bit more polish for me to be that excited.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it was a bad experience. It's just when I start to, you know what I mean? Like you give me a shiny robot, but then when I break it apart and it's made out of like really old car parts, I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
I was disappointed with this one too.
That was a stupid analogy. But
I just ignored it. This one was disappointing because it is so pretty, and I was expecting more. It almost feels as though it came as a roll and write, and then somebody said, you know, a better way to do roll and write is if you have a hand of cards that you play. You know, it really.
Well, I actually like the roll and move thing because I was a big fan of it in Luxor.
Okay.
Right? Because it works like that in Luxor as well. It works a little bit differently because your hands are restricted, but this game has
in different ways,
restrictions.
Yeah.
Right. I really like the compromise to roll and write with cards like that. And I mentioned in Luxor review that I wish more games would come out with that. And that's one of the things I was excited about with Cape May when I read about it. Yeah, that's cool. I like this. Replace the roll and write, or roll and move. I think I kept saying roll and write, but replace the roll and move method with using cards. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just seems like an obvious move, and it seems like it came from a roll and write, and maybe they didn't tighten up the board enough.
Roll and move.
Roll and move. Oh my God. Yeah.
The last review we did was roll and write.
Okay,
game,
so yeah, and then they sort of transferred it over from that. You know, as you suggest, is always a good idea, and I agree. But then they didn't tighten up the board at the same time, which led to the appearance of restriction, but then in reality, there's not.
I will mention one last thing that I like about the game is that it's very clear where you're at and what you can build on, because they have these little dots on the squares and hexagons. It was pretty helpful because not that there's a lot of spaces on the board where you're confused on if you could build there or not, but a few of them you could be if those dots didn't exist. I thought that was a really a good touch. Anyway, final thoughts from me is the experience was fun, but it fell apart when I had to pick it apart. And that's just unfortunate. It is what it is.
Yeah, give it a try. Give it a try and see what you think.
Yeah, definitely try it. Cause I mean, we are not gods, you know, if you like the games we like, then this should matter to you. If you don't like anything that we like, then maybe this could be a good game.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is Cape May. All right. We don't do a lot of reviews where we just absolutely didn't like the game. Like, I think that there's very few games where both of us had the same negative connotation.
Yeah, I usually have a more negative outlook than you do on a lot of games. But this one, I think we were both there, yeah.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, man. I really like that game. I really like it.
Yeah.
But we're ready to wrap this up then? All right. We want to thank you for tuning into episode 126 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. This episode was recorded on June 3rd, 2021. Please send us questions and comments to meeplecore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check out video versions of the show on youtube.com/MeepleCore. And until next time, this is Tim Jeanette the Metal Meeple.
George Braden.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.